Thokozani, 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 Thokozani. Thank God it's Friday. I hope you guys are having an absolutely lovely Friday afternoon. I know I was supposed to record this video a couple of days or maybe 2 days ago, but I got quite pressed for time. But I just want to quickly take us through a couple of red flags when it comes to ukobela, seeking a spiritual healer, and what you should really be aware of, what you should be concerned of, right? Number one, scare tactics. Guys, scare tactics are so dangerous because they force you to do something that you don't understand and that you are emotionally and psychologically not ready for, and you are not doing it from a place of purity, peace, and understanding, but rather from a place of fear, right? Scare tactics are something like, if you don't twasa, this is what's going to happen. If you don't twasa, then you're going to get into a car accident. If you don't give me this money so I can give you lemiti, you're gonna die. Or people say kunesnyama esiningi, kunesithunzi esimnyama nje esiningi, there's a lot of darkness around you. What does that mean? Be specific, right? The problem with us as laymen, okay, when you go into a consultation with a traditional healer, the same mindset of specificity and accuracy that you would expect and demand from your GP or your psychologist or your lawyer is the same level of specificity you must expect from your traditional healer. If they cannot tell you where does it come from, what is the cause, and then based on where does it come from and what is the cause, what is the diagnosis, and what is the best possible course of action, and it must actually make sense to you logically, right, and rationally, then you should be concerned, right? Do not just drop logic and reasoning just because you're with the traditional healer. Traditional healing, African healing and medicine is a science, right? Treat African healing and medicine with the same rationality and logic that you would any other form of science, because all science comes from the science. Number two, guys, and this is the biggest one, right? Apart from scare tactics, dividing the family. Oh, Nkosiyami. Bakwethu, umsebenzi of any spiritual healer, advisor, a prophet, a priest, anybody must be to always unite the family. Umndeni kumele uhlanganiswe and be brought together, because umndeni ohlakazekile, that is divided and torn apart, is a broken umsamo. So if a healer is going to say to you, your aunt is bewitching you because they're jealous, your sister is bewitching you, your niece is bewitching you, your sbanbani is stealing ihlos, right? What they are doing is they are planting a dangerous seed into your mind, that even if it were not the case, right? Let's say, for example, a healer says to you, someone in the family is trying to kill somebody, okay? That's what they say. But now, for argument's sake, let's say that person didn't check their tires and then they got into a car accident and they passed away. There was absolutely no spiritual force involved in the passing away of that person by a car accident, but because that person's negligence of not checking their car tires and they were worn out and they were completely done, they got into an accident, it's raining, and they passed away. Because the healer has planted that seed in your mind that your aunt is going to try kill somebody, you're all going to look at your aunts and say, my aunt umthakathi. The most dangerous healer is the one that's trying to divide the family. If your healer is trying to put you against your family and divide your family, right, I would be very concerned. I would be very, very worried. Now, this is not to say that families don't try use umuti to harm one another. Yes, it does happen. However, as someone who's trying to unite the family, to say to your healer, to say to your patient, right, that your son or your niece or your nephew is bewitching you, therefore I'm removing it and I'm doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, is dangerous, because you don't know what this person's going to do once they've left your consultation space. What if they take what if they take that piece of information and use it as a motive to kill the person? Yabo. So if that is the case where someone is actually bewitching someone in the family, they should say, no, look, kunokuthakatha that's happening in the round, this is how you are being bewitched, this is the best course of action, this is the diagnosis, and this is how I'm going to remove it. And leave it at that. Right? Even if they say it's someone close by you, then that's fine. But it is so dangerous to put someone against someone else. You know. Also, guys, utagata happens far less than you actually think. I know we really think as black people utagata happens quite often. It really doesn't. It's just a nice, easy scapegoat, I guess. Also, utagata is going to be more successful if you already have a very shaky umsamo, because historically you haven't fixed the things of the past, right? For example, if ntagata banda babili, right, the one has got umsamo kondil, the right surname, the fixed the generational curses and everything else in the past, and the other one hasn't done that, of course the one that hasn't done anything is going to feel the brunt more than the other one. Because mautagato, right, you're obviously going to see in dreams, you're going to get signs, you're going to get signals. How are you going to get that if already umsamo wako is shaky? Guys, I hope that makes sense. So that is the two biggest things, guys. Scare tactics, right, and dividing the family are the two biggest red flags that we should be avoiding. Two big red flags. The third one, okay, guys, when it comes to witchcraft or someone saying to you it's kunesichitho or this witchcraft or whatnot, actually, before I get to that, right, the third big red flag, guys, avoiding family history and what it means for you contextually. A healer needs to be able to contextualize the diagnosis for you. So in other words, if you're going to say to me, okay, Siyabonga, for example, no kunomuntu that is trying to do ABCD to you, why are they trying to do that? Where does it come from? How are they trying to do that? Okay, have they tried before? Right? And if so, why were they not successful in the first place? You've got to be very critical and engage your healer. You need to be asking them 1,000,001 questions. If someone cannot contextualize a diagnosis and bring it back to my family history and tell me what it means for my family history, then what you are failing to do is you are failing to apply this problem to me. Then this problem is not my problem. It's a one-size-fits-all problem. Ushuguti, do you just tell everybody that they have this problem? Because all problems should stem from umsamo wam and my family history, right? If ngampela, let's say kunomuntu ontshontshe idlozi lasekhaya, right? You need to take me back to my family history and say, okay, what happened ekhaya, right? When it comes to my family history, did someone try before? Has someone tampered with idlozi lasekhaya before? And if so, how did they do it? And who was it? And what did they do, right? Because history never repeats itself, it rhymes, guys. So what's happening to you, maybe chances are something similar happened to your father and your mother and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. And there were things that they did to protect themselves from those things happening. And they knew, right? There are certain things that have happened to my mother and father, right, that they told me of. Hence, I'm now aware of certain things that, I mean, obviously I won't say it here, but there are certain things that I avoid and certain things people, and things that I don't do because I know that historically I'm predisposed to slipping up there because it's happened before in the family. Your family history is everything, and a healer that fails to bring it back to your family history is one to be, is a bit of a red flag for me. So I'm going to leave it at there so that this video is not too long. The 3 biggest red flags, guys. Number 1, I've already spoken about, scare tactics. Number 2, right? Number 1, scare tactics. Number 2, putting the family against each other. Number 3, no acknowledgement or understanding of your family history or contextualizing it when it comes to your family history, the diagnosis. Let's leave it at that. I'm going to record another part 2, which is going to tackle another 2. And in part 2, I'm going to speak about the importance of actually making your patient understand. They need to understand, guys. But a lot of people can't teach understanding. And if your healer can't teach you how to understand, you really got to ask yourself, do they themselves understand?